Hi, I'm Annie Copps. I'm the food editor at Yankee Magazine, and today we're going to be cooking from a bookazine that we have out called Best New England Recipes. We went through all 75 years of Yankee Magazines, every single issue, and called out more than 150 of our favorites, and this is definitely one of our favorites. It's a cranberry and gorgonzola tart. Now, the tart dough, which is how we're going to start, first of all, this is a tart pan. You could use a springform pan, you could use a rectangular pan, whatever is easiest for you. And this dough, it's really, as you can see, it's sort of a flaky crumble. It's flour, lots of butter, walnut meal, which is essentially whole walnuts that are processed into, you don't want to puree them too fine, but just sort of crumbled up in your food processor, about 3/4 of a cup to start with. Or you could buy it. This also has sage, dried sage that we rubbed into it. And a little bit of sugar, which is going to help it brown up nicely, and salt to draw out all those flavors. And you can also use a store-bought crust, maybe put some walnuts on the bottom and some of that sage. Here we go. We'll start with this much and see where we get. As you can see, I'm using the bowl to help move it around. I'll get my fingers in there as well, but there's a lot of butter in here, and it might start to melt because I have warm hands, but a cold heart. There we go, around the pan like that. Now I'll use my fingers. Great. We're getting there. There's our edges. As you can see, it's very crumbly. There we go. Squish, squish, squish. And there you go. I'm going to pop that into a 350-degree oven for about 55 minutes to an hour so it's cooked all the way through and nice and brown. Okay, so we made that beautiful crust. Now, the other part that's very, very important is the cranberries. So I'm going to start with actually some cherry preserves because cranberries tend to be a little bit tart and bitter. You could use strawberry, you could use raspberry, whatever preserves you like. Even orange would be nice. And just heat that through. Okay, that's nice and warm. To that I'm adding 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. You could use white sugar. Brown sugar adds a little bit more depth of flavor. Switch that around. Stir that in. And this is 12 ounces of cranberries. And I like to go through the cranberries just to make sure that there aren't any stems on there. And sometimes you get one that's like this one. Oh, it's fighting with me. That didn't quite make the cut. Into the bowl. And also, when cranberries, when you find them in the market, buy an extra bag and freeze them, because I find that October, November, December, they're everywhere, but in June, not so much. And they freeze really well. Stir that together. And then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of either cherry kirsch or any cherry liqueur, or this is actually an orange liqueur. And what this is just adds a lot more flavor to it and gives it a nice richness. And we're going to cook it down. So that's 1 tablespoon and 2. It does need some liquid. I think that 2nd tablespoon was a little bigger than the 1st. It's flexible. All right, so we're just going to stir that together and cook it for about 25 minutes or until the cranberries really break down and lose their shape and it thickens up nicely. Then you want to cool it to room temperature, probably a half an hour or so, something like that. Terrific. Our tart shell has cooled down. Our cranberries have cooked down and they have cooled down. Next step, gorgonzola. You could use gorgonzola, which we have here today. I'm going to crumble this up on the bottom. Or you could use your favorite blue cheese. If nothing else, we're flexible. Along the bottom of the pan, an evenish layer. Oh, that cheese smells terrific. And with the cranberries, tart and sweet now, this is going to be fantastic. And there we go. Oh, my fingers smell great. Now that cooled cranberry right on top. Oh, look at that color. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. All over the top. How about that with a salad? Perfect lunch. Perfect, perfect, perfect lunch. There's no better color than cranberry. Except the color of money. And that is it. To serve, here's a little trick my mom taught me with tart shells, because it has that removable bottom. Just take a can. Da 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 da. Then we can slice it up and enjoy it. Look at that.